Welcome to the Warehouse. Has a Sunday sermon ever left you running to Google with new theological questions? Have you ever wished you could peer behind the curtain and see how a message comes together? That's where we come in. Here at Cornerstone Church, we spend hours every week talking about Scripture. This is the place to learn about passages, dive into their context, and study the Bible's cultural background. Come to the Warehouse, where we extend what you learn from the stage.
What's up, Stephanie?
Well, hello, Nathan. How are you?
Good. Today, it's just us on the podcast and JC listening in and making sure that our voices sound halfway decent.
Halfway decent. Not all the way, great.
Yeah.
But just right there.
Yep. Just right there. I've heard that you have a discussion prompt for us today.
Yes, I do. Okay. So first, do you even like sushi?
I really do. Okay. I used to not. I grew up the only sushi I had was in Chinese buffet restaurants.
Ooh.
And so it's like gummy and
sitting there a while.
Oh, yeah.
There's one place you can get really good sushi at the restaurant, the one in Carbondale. Yeah. That one's good.
I've heard that. I've never had it.
Oh, okay. Well.
So anyway, I thought that's what sushi was like. I'm like, man, why do people like this? And then there was actually, I remember the first time I had it and liked it. I'm like, oh, it tastes so fresh and good. And so now I really enjoy it.
Okay. So if you're taking Tia on a date night to go get sushi, where are you going and what are you guys getting?
I think, so we've tried most places around here and Fujiyama would be our favorite.
Yep. Same.
Tia's going to get something. She's going to get a plain California roll. But she also likes a shrimp tempura or tempura. I don't know how you say
Tempura.
Tempura. Okay. The fried one.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. She also really likes that. I like to get something that has a little bit more spice to it. So a spicy tuna or something like that. Spicy tuna roll would probably be my top.
It's pretty good.
Have you been to Jasmine's in Paducah?
I have.
Okay. Did you have a bad experience?
I did.
Oh, okay. I had a really good experience.
That's good.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. They have a KFC roll that has fried chicken in the middle of it.
Is it delicious?
It was actually very good. It sounds dumb. It's this is a...
Is it like a chicken tender
collision.
Or is it like a chicken leg?
A fried... Just a chicken leg in the middle of a sushi
just in the
roll.
middle, rolled in rice.
It's weird.
I mean, it would be really weird, but it could probably be done.
I'm sure it could.
It could.
So, yeah, we're probably ordering 3 rolls. We'll order a California roll. She'll order a shrimp tempura, and I'll order a spicy tuna or something like that, or something that has dragon in the name. Because dragons, man.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
And then do you get the salad too?
I do like the salad at Fuji.
Yeah, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah,
so
how about you?
Me and Justin, we would probably
Does
be
he
going...
like sushi?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We would either be going to Fujiyama or if I just wanted... Because he doesn't really like to go out to restaurants. I could always bring home Sam's sushi.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good,
Yeah.
especially since they've got the new...
It's fresh.
And, those people in there.
Good.
It's so good. But if I'm at Fujiyama, I'm getting the New York Giant Roll.
Okay.
That one's deep fried.
Does it have cream cheese on it?
Yeah, a spicy crab on top.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And spicy mayo. And it's deep fried. And it's delicious. It was the first sushi roll I ever had when Carbondale, Fujiyama, when it first opened. And I fell in love.
That sounds yummy.
It is. It's pretty delicious. Should. And so should our podcast listeners.
Yeah. I wonder how many of them like sushi.
I wonder how many of them listen to this little blurb.
How many of them just click the plus 30 seconds?
Yes. And
I don't blame
oh, man,
you.
It's still going on. They're still talking about sushi.
If you do skip it, though, I would welcome you to just tell us that, hey, we don't appreciate your playful banter. And then we can cut it out. We do this for you, not because, we have other times to talk about sushi.
Do we?
Okay, so we are going into Guard, week 1. Guard, so I've kind of given a little, did you have a different name for this one? Did you think it was still in Reflect?
I did, and I put week 2.
Whoa. I don't think it is.
No,
okay.
It's not. Wait. Nope. It's not.
Did I miss a week?
No, I think you're...
What's Morgan teaching on?
Oh, gosh.
It's possible. You guys probably recorded Guard week 1 while I was on vacation.
I think I even tried to explain it, too.
Oh.
Yeah, and you...
Sorry about that. So now we're on to
Guard week 2.
Yep.
Last week was Daniel.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. So guard is largely so if we're talking about these like inward disciplines, practices, relational skills, relating to like how we interact with ourself, reflect is all about self-awareness. How do I know what's going on inside of me? Guard is a lot more, it's a little bit more proactive. So it's both about how do we put off the deeds of the flesh and how do we put on Christ. And so it can be things like accountability and confession of sin as ways that we intentionally put off sin. It can also be things like diet and exercise, or like, any of those guardrails that we put in place to keep ourselves on the positive. So that's kind of the scoop for guard.
Yeah, last week I think I said like guardrails.
Yep.
That's what I got for you.
Yep. So it's like if reflect is self-awareness, guard is self-discipline. Yep.
Good.
Cool. So this is an interesting one because this is falling on Mother's Day. This sermon is. We are looking at Judges 4, which is a pretty like fun Mother's Day one. It's a little bloodier than most Mother's Day sermons.
Yeah.
I mean, a dude gets a tent peg through his temple.
Right there. Just.
Yeah. Dead. But it's like I kind of liked where it landed. It was definitely a fun study, and I'm really curious to see how like Michael takes it sermon wise. So we'll just dive into the text and then see how Michael ends up landing it sermon wise.
I think one of the big takeaways for like us, me thinking of myself right now, is I really enjoyed that we studied this because I don't feel like many people know this story.
Yeah. Within
our congregation or just in general. I mean, I just learned about Jael like 6 months ago.
Yeah. It was, as we've talked about it some, it's like, it's been surprising how many conversations we've had with people that's like, oh yeah, I've never really read the book of Judges, or I'd never read this story.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's good. It's like a period in like Israel's history that we should know about. And there's things I just think about like, the New Testament telling us that all these things happened and were, recorded for us for our own upbuilding. So it has a purpose. So what was, this is the story of Deborah, Barak, and Jael, and this enemy that was raised up and defeated. And so that's our story in Judges 4. What was your big idea?
God uses who he will for his will.
Yeah. It sounds like we cooperated on our big ideas. I forgot this, but we did not. We did not compare notes. But mine says, God can and will use whomever he wants to accomplish his purposes. Okay, so let's back up a little bit and talk about the book of Judges in general. Like, whenever you think about the book of Judges, what's important to keep in mind historically, literarily, all that stuff?
Yeah, so this is a historical book. Right? It begins after.
What do you mean by a historical book?
Like, it's not one of the poetic books.
Yeah.
It's not, why can't my brain, wisdom literature.
It's like recording, it's narrative that's recording historical events. Yep.
Right. So it begins after Joshua has led the Israelites. And so Deborah, we know she was around 1209 BC. The author of Judges is unknown.
Right. So who actually wrote it down?
Right.
Yeah.
We're not completely sure, which you have some like theories on that, like fun things that you've researched. And
sure. Yeah. I mean, there's different approaches to it. So it's like, I have found myself, and you guys have heard me talk about this if you've listened to the podcast, like one of my seminary professors talked about the theory that that Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings were recorded by what they call the Deuteronomistic historian. And there's some reasons that they say that would be that like it kind of takes on the shape. So it would make sense of like why Deuteronomy is repeated. Like Deuteronomy repeats a lot of content from the rest of the Pentateuch. And then it would also start to like Deuteronomy kind of shapes up Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings. if you think of it as far as like it lays out the covenant that Israel was to live by, that if they abide by it, they'll be blessed. If they don't, they'll be cursed. And then the theory of it being recorded by one guy puts that Deuteronomistic historian during the period of the exile, like all these things being written down and given to them at that point, where they are in Israel is in exile and asking the question of like, man, how did we get here? What happened? And so under that theory, the Deuteronomistic historian would be recording these things to show them that like, hey, actually, it seems like it came out of nowhere, but this has been the pattern of like God gave you a covenant, and then you went into the land in the book of Joshua and you captured it, but you left some people alive, and then you were consistently led into rebellion and like abandoned God and went your own way, and then you thought a king would fix it, but a king didn't fix it, and so then now we're here.
Right. So to kind of bring it back to last week, if the Deuteronomistic historian, did I say it right? If he was the one who wrote this would have been in the time of Daniel. So last week we were in Daniel.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Kind of put a little time marker in there.
Yeah. And then some people who hold to that theory would say that then Chronicles, which rehashes a lot of the material from Samuel and Kings, would have been written after they returned from exile, and would have been written to explain like the behavior of the kings and like what should they expect, and are they still God's covenant people after coming back? Like, do they still belong to God? And
that was written by the chronicler?
Yeah, that's what they call it. Anyway, it's just a theory. Like some people would be uncomfortable with it because it's like it doesn't have Moses being the sole like author of the book of Deuteronomy, and so like I understand like being uncomfortable with that. So I've found it to be a decent theory, but again, it's like we don't know.
Yeah, I just think it's neat to like, hey, this is what you've learned along the way, and so like to bring it up is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Given
like another like overview snapshot, it's like, okay, so from the beginning of the Bible, you have God's interactions with humanity from Genesis 1 to 12, and it's just humanity in general. Then Genesis 12, you have Abraham, and from that point on, it's God interacting with his covenant people. He gives a covenant to Abraham, and so it's the patriarchs, and then moving into Exodus, where they've now been 400 years in the land of Egypt, and then he raises up Moses as a deliverer for them. And so Moses raises them up. God gives them a law and makes them a people. So now all of a sudden, like God has fulfilled his promise to Abraham to like raise up like plentiful descendants. He gives them a law that makes them a nation. And the piece of the covenant that's not yet fulfilled is them having a land. So then Joshua is about him taking over for Moses, taking the people into the land of Canaan, the land that he swore to Abraham to give to them. They now have a land. They take over pieces of it, but they also leave pockets of the natives like living there. And then that's Joshua, and it finishes. It feels like relatively positive, but then you get into Judges right after that, and you see this cyclical pattern of. And how would you describe that pattern?
Yeah, I just have like they go into a land and they just keep giving themselves over to a foreign god. And so idolatry leads to oppression and them crying out, and God sends a rescuer.
Yep.
So which we also call like the Judges.
Yep. So you have this like these repeated themes of sin, oppression, repentance, deliverance, and then a period of peace. And then they sin again. So you'll have sometimes like 40 years, 80 years of peace after it all. And then I'll say, but they did what was right in their own eyes.
Right. None of the judges, well, I shouldn't say none, but like we look at Samson, and I can't think of my Judges is a messy book.
It really is.
It's not like these people were perfect and did nothing wrong.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
One of the things that's interesting, so if you're just trying to get into the book of Judges, if you're like, hey, this is actually pretty interesting, I would encourage you to at least read, before you're getting into it, at least read Judges 2:11 through 23, because that just specifically the author of Judges calls out this pattern and says that that it's a pattern of unfaithfulness, and then the people crying out to God, and God. So unfaithfulness, God gives them over to an enemy. They cry out to God. He raises up a deliverer to like rescue them, and then they have a period of peace. And the author of Judges just sets us up that he says that's going to be the pattern. And because of that, we should also pay attention anytime that pattern is broken, since he just says right at the beginning, like, hey, this is what the book of Judges is going to be all about. I'm going to lay it out for you in this way. You're going to see it in this kind of spiral pattern. We should pay attention if that pattern if any of those pieces are absent in any of the stories.
And we do see that in this pattern, right? I mean, in this chapter.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that disclaimer of going back to chapter 2 to read it. I think that's really important for people to do. And it's not a long read either.
Yeah.
Take you maybe like 5 minutes.
Yep. It's like 10 verses. So it's
some people 2 seconds.
Sarah Rawls. Her reading speed is
insane,
off the charts. Dustin and I are decent readers, but we did like a words per minute, like that you can read test. Dustin and I scored relatively the same. I think his was a little bit faster, and Sarah was like double ours.
What?
No joke. It was
mine would be
crazy,
very slow.
That's okay.
No, it is. It's fine. I'm okay with it.
It's about comprehension.
Yeah. All right. I am going to let you read all of this today because,
lots of names.
Lots of names.
Ooh, yeah, there is. Okay.
You can do it.
Let's take a chunk. So this, I said, Deborah and Barak. This is, let's see.
Do you want to do 1 through 10? I know that's a pretty big chunk. I can't talk.
Yeah.
Chunk.
So you've had, as far as the judges go, you've had Othniel, you've had Ehud, you've had Shamgar, and interestingly, we see in Shamgar, it kind of breaks the pattern a little bit. It says that he saved Israel. It doesn't necessarily say that God raised him up, and it doesn't. Anyway, I have a question like whether Shamgar was technically a judge or not, because it doesn't say that he was. And actually, when we get into the first verse of chapter 4, we have the people of Israel again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord after Ehud died. So it makes it sound to me like Shamgar and Ehud overlap. That Ehud was the actual judge, but Shamgar was another military deliverer. Okay. I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to butcher some of these names. Okay.
I love it.
I apologize if you are a Hebrew scholar and know how to pronounce these things. I do not. So, but I got to read them. And the people of Israel again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord after Ehud died. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazor. The commander of his army was Sisera, who lived in Harosheth Haggayim. Then the people of Israel cried out to the Lord for help, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and he oppressed the people of Israel cruelly for 20 years. Now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidith, was judging Israel at that time. She used to sit under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the people of Israel came up to her for judgment. She sent and summoned Barak, the son of Abinoam, from Kadesh Naphtali, and said to him, Has not the Lord, the God of Israel, commanded you, Go gather your men at Mount Tabor, taking 10,000 from the people of Naphtali and the people of Zebulun, and I will draw out Sisera, the general of Jabin's army, to meet you by the river Kishon with his chariots and his troops, and I will give him into your hand. Barak said to her, If you will go with me, I will go, but if you will not go with me, I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with you. Nevertheless, the road on which you are going will not lead to your glory, for the Lord will sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. Then Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh, and Barak called out Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and 10,000 men went up at his heels, and Deborah went up with him.
You did really good. Wow.
Woo.
I'm shocked.
Ouch.
That was well. No, I mean,
No, it's, I have no idea if I did well or not, but I faked it, so.
Confidence. Did great.
Confidence. Okay, let's talk through just the bullet points. I imagine lots of people are running or
Right.
in the car. So there's a whole bunch of names. So if you hit the high points of what just happened, what happened?
So we know that Ehud died.
Yep.
Okay, so that was the the judge right before.
He's the one who it specifically calls out that he was left-handed, and then like he killed the enemy king with a sword, plunged it all the way in to where the dude's fat like covered over the hilt of the sword, right?
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Oh, golly.
Anyway, yep.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Ehud.
And so then we see that the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin the king. So it's not anybody else's doing, but the Lord allowed that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Which is huge. Like that tells us that this is disciplinary action, which I'm thinking again, like Israel is hearing this and recognizing that like it's the Lord's hand because they are covenant breakers, because they forsook the Lord. Like that's why they're experiencing this.
Yeah, one of the commentators I read said that God loved Israel too much to let them go their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And there may be times when we wish God would leave us alone, yet we ultimately are thankful for his continued dealing with us, even when it isn't comfortable. It just made me think of the, God loves us too much to leave us there that we say here a lot at Cornerstone.
Yep.
And that's what God is doing here. It's to help them in the long run.
Love it. So you have a king, Jabin, and we found like Jabin might be it could be a personal name, but actually it seems to be often like there's another Jabin that was referenced, and it seems like potentially in this region it might have been actually more of a title, kind of like Pharaoh.
Yeah.
So it might have not been the guy's given name.
Is it Abimelech, the other one?
I don't know.
Oh man.
I don't know.
From Genesis. Anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, I had that, like Joshua defeated another Jabin at Hazor almost 200 years earlier.
Yeah.
And his name means like discernment or wisdom. So like they were sold into wisdom and discernment.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I listened to the Bible Project on this scripture and they just diving into the names. It was really neat.
Yeah, they like to draw out those names, which is cool. Okay, so the Lord sold them into Jabin's hands. They're there for 20 years, and they've been oppressed cruelly. So this is not a walk in the park for them. This guy is a powerful king, and his army general is named Sisera.
Yeah. So Tim Mackey had some like really neat things. Like it sounds like a hissing snake.
Sisera does?
Yes. And so Carson's commentary suggests that he was the leader of a group of the so-called like sea people who like are like the Philistines in a way, and they had migrated to Palestine. But I just think we'll get to it a little bit more, but the hissing of the snake part and his name.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So then that's the setup. And this is like common to most of the like vignettes we get of these judges is like there's a setup. They did what was evil. God gave them into oppression. They were there for this period of time. It's really bad. Interestingly, like so, and then in verse 3 here, then the people of Israel cried out for help. And so again, you've got that pattern. They cry out, and then interestingly, so then you enter Deborah, and it actually like so on. Like I think the natural thought would be, okay, Deborah is the judge. She's going to continue the pattern of like Othniel and Ehud. Interestingly, it doesn't say that God raised up Deborah.
I loved how you pointed this out because I didn't catch it. I was like, oh, well, she was judging Israel at the time, so she's the judge over Israel. But the way you put it was really neat. Like,
thanks.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's interesting because, and I'm not saying that she for sure shouldn't be considered a judge, but like all of the other judges were military leaders. She's the only one that's operating in like a political sphere where people are coming to her and ask, or a judicial sphere, I guess, people are coming and asking her to judge cases. She doesn't end up operating in a military capacity. She does not end up, like it doesn't say that she delivered Israel as it does like with most of the other judges. So I think it's possible that what's actually going on here is that you have this Deborah character enters into it, and she is a prophetess, so she is gifted by the Lord. I'm not saying that she's doing anything wrong, but I also think there's a potential that the author of Judges is intentionally setting this up to where you have a prophetess that you're like, oh, hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Is she the judge? Like a female judge over Israel? And maybe that's not actually what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm like, we can get into that in a little bit more.
Yeah.
So prophetess means like the human mouthpiece of God. Like, so she speaks for him.
Yep.
But so what's the difference between, I mean, I know you kind of just hit it a little bit, but a judge and a prophetess?
Yeah. So the judges specifically, it would say that they were raised up by God. They were raised up to be military leaders who like, or kind of like the Bible Project calls them like tribal chieftains.
Okay.
And so they're like they are deliverers that like lead Israel to military victory. Everyone except for Deborah, from what I've seen. And she's the only one who like, she judges Israel, but then she does not end up technically delivering them. And it doesn't ever credit their delivery to Deborah either.
No, the credit is to...
Well, yeah. Spoiler.
Isn't it to God?
It is.
Oh, I'm like, wait, now I'm confused. Yes, to God. But Jael, too.
Yes. So I think, so you have, Deborah's there. We laughed. It says that she's sitting under the palm of Deborah.
And then I asked, do you think the tree's name was Deborah before her or after her?
Where it's like, how convenient that she found a tree that had the same name as her.
It's fine.
No, it would have been named after.
Yeah, I mean, that makes
in memory of her.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so then she sends, as in her role as prophetess, she sends and summons Barak, the son of Abinoam.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really tell us like why she summons him, like as far as, well, I mean, I guess it's because the Lord's told her to, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so she's speaking for God in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And so she says, God says to take 10,000 people from these tribes, and he's going to bring out Sisera, and you're going to defeat him.
Mm-hmm.
And then how's he respond?
He's like, yeah, no, unless if you come with me.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going unless if you go. Yeah. So he's denying what God has told him to do.
Right.
He's like, the Lord may have commanded me to do this, but I'm not ready to do it on my own.
Right. So already you have some like interesting tension, especially in like an ancient Near East culture where women would not have been given like dignity and places of authority for them to be coming to her to try their cases. Then for like you're like, oh, maybe she's God's not raising her up to deliver.
Barak.
Maybe it's Barak.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm only going if you go. All of a sudden, like, ew. Like,
it's like, what are you doing, Barak?
Yeah.
Just go. She said that you would like win this.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like, man, it might be kind of a little bit of a the status of Israel's like masculinity was not very good. Like it might be setting us up to understand that there were not many godly men, but it doesn't necessarily say that. Okay, so then we keep going. And so that section I just read finishes with, she says, okay, I'll go with you, but know that this road doesn't lead to your glory. God's going to deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
What else in that section?
That's all I had, like the big parts. Like we see the tribes, Zebulun and Naphtali.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two tribes that are going out. And so the 10,000 men, I can't remember who talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a big note on it or anything. This is from memory. So if I say it wrong, correct it.
Sure.
But the 10,000 men could not necessarily be 10,000 men. It could just be a number that was given, or
right. So the number that's translated as 1,000 was not like a precise like accounting number for them. It actually meant like a military unit or a military contingent, and it's like it was larger than like just a household. It's larger than just a household, but like smaller than the entire tribe. So whenever we see 10,000, it's more like 10 groupings, 10 military contingents, and it's less about, precise numbers. And like for some people, that's like, alarming. Honestly, like the way that they recorded numbers then is not the same way that we think about numbers now. So, they're communicating an idea, and this is like the kind of terminology they would have used.
Yeah, like the 900 chariots of iron would have represented like a strong army.
Yep. Okay, what else? Anything else before I read the next section?
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay, wish me luck.
You've got this.
You think through 16 or all the way through the tent peg situation?
I think all the way through the tent peg.
Okay, through the end. Okay.
You can do it.
Now, Heber the Kenite had separated from the Kenites, the descendants of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses, and had pitched his tent as far away as the oak in Zananim, which is near Kadesh. When Sisera was told that Barak, son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor, Sisera called out all his chariots, 900 chariots of iron, and all the men who were with him, from Harosheth Haggayim to the river Kishon. And Deborah said to Barak, "Up, for this is the day in which the Lord has given Sisera into your hand. Does not the Lord go out before you?" So Barak went down from Mount Tabor with 10,000 men following him. And the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and all his army before Barak by the edge of the sword. And Sisera got down from his chariot and fled away on foot. And Barak pursued the chariots and the army to Harosheth Haggayim. And all the army of Sisera fell by the edge of the sword. Not a man was left. But Sisera fled away on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. For there was peace between Jabin the king of Hazor and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jael came out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Turn aside, my lord, turn aside to me, do not be afraid." So he turned aside to her into the tent, and she covered him with a rug. And he said to her, "Please give me a little water to drink, for I am thirsty." So she opened a skin of milk and gave him a drink and covered him. And he said to her, "Stand at the opening of the tent, and if any man comes and asks you, 'Is there anyone here?' say no." But Jael, the wife of Heber, took a tent peg and took a hammer in her hand. Then she went softly to him and drove the peg into his temple until it went down into the ground while he was lying fast asleep from weariness. So he died. And behold, as Barak was pursuing Sisera, Jael went out to meet him and said to him, "Come, and I will show you the man whom you are seeking." So he went into her tent, and there lay Sisera dead with the tent peg in his temple. So on that day God subdued Jabin the king of Canaan before the people of Israel, and the hand of the people of Israel pressed harder and harder against Jabin the king of Canaan until they destroyed Jabin the king of Canaan. Okay, so what do you see? So yeah, again, let's just walk through some comprehension points of what's going on.
So the first thing that grabbed my attention when studying this is now Heber the Kenite.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Where did he come from? Why is he an important part of this story?
Yeah.
So it kind of just grabbed my attention of what is he doing here? Mm-hmm. And we see that he's actually related to Jethro.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Also in this story called Hobab, but the father-in-law of Moses. Now I can't say Moses. Was Jethro. Yeah.
And so it's we see him basically make an alliance with Sisera.
Yeah.
Right?
And with Jabin, specifically with the king, right?
Yeah. So he feels like this is going to be a safe place for him to go. I mean, we'll get there in a little bit, but this is why he's important.
Yeah. So you have Heber the Kenite he's separated from the descendants of Hobab, but so he's not an Israelite. Mm-hmm. So Jethro would not have been an Israelite.
That's a good point to pull out.
So, he was not an Israelite. He was living outside of Egypt at the time whenever Moses was delivering them and stuff. And so this is a descendant of a different people group. It's not an Israelite that's separating from the rest of the clan. But it is a guy who he looks and he sees the lay of the land, the power structure and stuff. He's like, I'm just going to go hang out with Jabin. Thank you. And so that's important. So we see here that Jael is the wife of Heber. And so she's the wife of a guy who's an ally with Sisera. Mm-hmm. And that's important for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see that Deborah tells Barak to go.
Yeah.
And because the Lord has given him over into his hand. Mm-hmm. And then the Lord causes confusion. So that word routed there in verse 15 can be confused or confusion. And Sisera and his chariots. Mm-hmm. And so they all died but Sisera.
Yeah. and he flees on foot. So not in one of these 900 chariots.
Right. He's
just,
he's
getting out of
running.
Dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, we're not going to do this.
Deuces.
He's like, you all can die.
Yeah. So everybody's dead.
Yeah,
God's
no man
done
was
exactly.
left.
God's done exactly what he said he would do. So
Mhm.
Barak did what he was supposed to do, and then the Lord draws out Sisera just like he said he would. Deborah, I kind of wonder when it says that, and Deborah said to Barak, it's like, is she having to give him another nudge there?
Yeah.
He sees it, and he sees Sisera coming out, and she's like, God's doing what he said. You got to go do it. I don't know.
Yeah, like trust him in this.
I don't want to read too much into it, but
Right.
it seems possible.
Yeah.
And so we already have, is Deborah the deliverer? Doesn't seem like it because she's not leading the military. Then is Barak the deliverer? But he seems kind of a coward. And then you see this in verse 15, and the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and all his army. And then at the end, so on that day, God subdued Jabin, the king of Canaan, before the people of Israel. It's like at the end of this, you see very clearly God is the deliverer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of these judges. Okay, so then Sisera gets out, flees on foot. Then what happens?
He runs straight into Jael's tent.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's run by because he knows that he has allies in in this couple.
Yeah, and I didn't see that the first time going through this. I was like, oh, well, how would he know this? Was there some hidden message that was passed on? But we just know that he knows that there is an ally here for him.
Yeah, and it calls out in verse 11 that specifically even where they'd pitched their tent as far away as the Oak and Zananim, which is near Kadesh. So it makes me think maybe that's, the territory of Jabin or something like that. So he knows now I'm in ally territory.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it even says in verse 17, for there was peace between Jabin the king of Hazar and the house of Heber the Kenite.
Yep.
So we have Jael come out and meet Sisera and say to him, turn aside, my Lord.
My Lord.
It's fine. And she gets him in there and covers him up with a rug.
And he's like, can I have some water?
Yeah, and she's like, I'll give you some warm milk.
Yeah.
Which warm milk, we kind of looked into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Can make you very sleepy.
Yes. So we were like, is that just a wives' tale or why is that? But as we looked it up, it's like there's tryptophan, the same thing that makes you sleepy after eating turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And then some other peptide combinations and stuff in milk can make you sleepy. It's like a scientific fact.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
She knew what she was doing.
Also, can you imagine being covered in blood and exhausted and then just drinking warm milk?
Oh.
That sounds terrible.
Sounds disgusting. I'm not a huge milk fan anyway, so.
I do like milk.
Okay.
Milk was a bad choice.
Yeah. So the neat part that the Bible Project pulled out from this with the hissing snake and the sound, his name was Genesis 3:15, the smashing the head of the serpent. So Jael, I think her name, it means God with us. Sorry.
Yeah. I see that it means mountain goat.
I see that too. Anyways, yeah, it's fine. Okay. It's fine. I can't stop laughing now. But so a woman crushing the head of the serpent, Genesis 3:15.
Cool.
She's literally doing that with a tent peg.
Yeah.
Putting it right.
Literally crushing the head of the metaphorical serpent. Yeah. And you even called out that he tells her specifically hey, you need to lie to anybody, lie to people if they come up to the door and ask if anybody's here. Tell them that nobody's here.
Yeah.
So kind of even
asking her to be a deceiver as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so Jael is a foreigner's wife, right? A foreigner who is allied with Sisera. So in this, I'm just imagining the courage it took for her. So again, not a trained warrior. I'm assuming I'm assuming this is the first guy that she's ever killed.
I would
right?
assume that too.
Right. And so it's like, and to know that he is the general of your husband's allies, army, it's like, wow, this is a defining moment for her.
Yeah.
Like of siding with the Lord instead of with her husband's allies and stuff.
Right.
It's
like,
huge.
yeah, it's a big deal.
And we don't know what happened to her. It's like, I mean, we don't know what happened after either, to her, right? Anyway, so it's a courageous moment. And still, like she's not really credited with delivering Israel, and she killed the military general, but like God is still the one who killed the army. And so I think my gut is, as we read through this, like it's supposed to feel like one of the commentaries I read said, like, what if these are actually like, there's 3, what they call a red herring, like a misdirection or whatever in this story, that you think it's going to follow the normal pattern, but then it starts breaking the pattern. You're like, okay, Deborah's the deliverer. Oh, wait, she's not going to deliver? Barak is the deliverer. Oh, he's not going to deliver? Oh, Jael's the deliverer. Oh, hang on. God's the deliverer of Israel. I don't know. It's just like an interesting storytelling arc.
It's really cool. Yeah, I've heard this story represented in a way of like, oh, well, this is to show like women and them being very strong and courageous. And
there were 2 strong, courageous women in here.
Right.
Yeah.
But is that the point of this story?
Right. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think whenever we see it, like we should be focused first on like God is their deliverer. Secondarily, like as you and I both put as our big ideas, like God can use whomever he wants to deliver. And so with that, to say in a culture that was very like anti-women, for him to raise up a couple of strong, courageous women who were willing to like
do the part.
Yeah, exactly. Do very hard things.
Yeah.
In order to honor the Lord. I think that's something that's commendable.
100%.
And it doesn't put them at the center of the story as a hero.
No.
As the hero.
Yeah. God is the hero of the story.
Yeah. And I think we see that some even in the way the next chapter is a song of praise. And like Jael does get, she does get called out as being blessed and stuff, but still like the Lord is the one who gets the credit. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. So it was a really interesting study because I had never studied this text. I'd read it and was kind of familiar with it. We both know a young lady named Jael,
Yes.
named after this story, which is pretty fun. But it was an interesting study.
So all honesty, we both know that I've never read Judges until very recently.
Yeah.
And this book wrecked me.
Yeah.
Like the book of Judges. I was like, oh man, this is so sad. And I'm like, thank goodness it doesn't end there. And
That the Bible doesn't end there.
Right.
Yeah. Because as we talked about, it's like, it's not just a cycle that happens through Judges. It's not just that they repeat the same thing over and over again. It actually kind of represents more of a downward spiral. That by the time you get, so Israel was called to be like a holy nation, a set apart people, a light in the darkness, a city on a hill. And like by the time you get to the end of Judges, it ends with that like atrocious story of like a man with his concubine and cutting her up and sending her like out to the different tribes. Yeah. And like, that's kind of where it ends with this feeling of like, oh my goodness. Not only like they're not a light. They were not a city on a hill. They like continued to just creep into like worse and worse sin. Yeah. And so then the Bible sets us up for like, maybe that king is going to be, they want a king after that. Maybe the king's going to be the answer. And then you have Saul, not so great. David, pretty good with some major errors.
Yeah.
And then just downhill until there's exile and then awaiting like, where is our ultimate deliverer? Setting us up for God is our deliverer in Jesus.
Yeah. That's good. So then they had peace for 40 years after this, right? Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah. This is good.
Yeah, you're right. At the end of chapter 5, the land had rest for 40 years.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see like how it ends up shaken out in a sermon.
Me too.
For
Mother's Day.
Yeah, for Mother's Day on how to have good guardrails.
Yeah.
Interesting. But I see some potential there though, right? What are some like things that you pull out from this? If you're thinking comprehension, interpretation, application, are there any?
I feel like I've been saying this so much lately, but to trust in the Lord, because he, it was our big idea, but he will do what he wants and in his will to make it work out. And so I don't know. And
with that, so it's like, he'll do what he wants. Also, like, he wants to use you.
Yeah.
So like, be usable.
Yeah. If he tells you to go, go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's big. It does make me wonder, like, so I do think that in that culture for a couple of women to be the center of the story probably was pretty shameful for Israel. And so like, just thinking about like men, like an encouragement to be strong and be courageous spiritual leaders in your homes and in our communities and stuff, I think is another like potential application. Yeah. Okay. I don't know that I've got anything else.
I don't have anything else.
Okay.
That was good.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Hope it's been a fun little journey for you, and hope it at least like even prompts a desire to dig in and study a book that you might not have spent a lot of time in. There's some interesting stuff in there. If you got thoughts or questions or pushback or whatever, correct us. We'd gladly hear it. You can email us, warehouse@cornerstone.team. We'd love to hear from you. Hope you have an amazing week.
Whoop, whoop.